And how's it going, YouTube? What's going on with you? It's Dirk here, TC Blues. Alright, now what you guys are saying. Can you please, why are you not posting of late? Well, we had the snowstorm, it's passed, and I like to relax, especially on my days off. So, but don't you worry, folks. I'm going to give you the games for January 2nd, and I'm going to give you what I thought of AllStar skills competition and how the AllStar game went, and also give you a look into the playoffs, what's going to go on in this video. So get ready. By the way, I do want to welcome some new subscribers. Hello. Um, so thank you for subscribing. And remember, folks, if you come along this video and haven't subscribed yet, because I know, and I'm going to try to find info about my videos, who's been viewing and stuff. I pretty much know people who view my videos are not my subscribers. So if you come across this video and haven't subscribed yet, hit the subscribe notification, folks. And if you want to know when I upload a video, hit the bell notification and say, hey, I want to be notified. You'll be notified whenever I upload a video and stuff and much more. So with that being said, I got 3 sheets here on the clipboard. Get right into it. Starting off with the games on February 2nd. Seattle was at the Islanders. Entered the matchup. Seattle was 14, 27, and 4 and 32 points. The Islanders were 16, 16, and 6 and 38 points. At the end of 60 minutes, the Kraken beat the Islanders by score 3-0. Shots on goal were 31 for the Kraken. The Islanders 19. 19 saves for the Kraken. Islanders 28. Seattle was 0 for 2 on the power play. New York Islanders was 0 for 1. Big win for Seattle. They got the win, which is great. But, folks, remember, we're about to start the rest of the season, the second half of the season on the 7th. So anything can still happen, folks. Literally, anything can still happen. Gotta get a drink of Coke Zero. I guess so. By the way, when I go to Blues games, I drink a Pepsi Zero. So next is Edmonton and Washington. Into the matchup, Edmonton was 22, 16, and 3 and 54. 47 points. Washington was 25, 12, and 9 and 59 points. And at the end of 60 minutes, the Edmonton Oilers beat the Washington Capitals by a score 5-3. Both teams had 27 shots. The Oilers had 24 saves, with the Capitals at 22 saves. Oilers were 1 for 1 on the power play with Edmonton. With Washington 0 for 3 on the power play. Big win for the Oilers. Their 23rd win of the year. Next was LA at Detroit. Into the matchup, LA was 23, 16, and 7 and 53 points. Detroit was 20, 20, and 6 and 46 points at the end of 60 minutes. LA wins by a score of 5-3. Shots on goal were 45 for the Kings. The Red Wings 25. 22 shots for 22 saves for the Kings. Red Wings 40 saves. 0 for 2 on the power play was LA. Detroit 0 for 1. So big win for LA. They got 2 points and they move up higher. They're getting closer and closer. Next was Calgary at Arizona. Entered the matchup. Calgary was 22, 13, and 6 and 50 points. Arizona 11, 29, and 4 and 26 points. And at the end of 60 minutes, Calgary beat Arizona by a score of 4-2. Shots on goal. Flames 50. Coyotes 28. The Flames had 26 saves, with Arizona at 46 saves. 0 for 2 on the power play was the Flames, and the Coyotes were 0 for 1 on the power play. For a win for for Calgary, Arizona needs to get moving or else they're going to be mathematically out. And I think, how about, when I do another video, probably tomorrow, I will give you, I'll see if any teams are technically mathematically out. Right now, there's still no teams mathematically out of the playoffs just yet. But how things are going, I think the Coyotes will be the first team eliminated. So we'll wait and see. And finally, the nightcap, Minnesota at Chicago. Minnesota, Chicago was the nightcap. Enter the matchup, 27. Minnesota was 27, 10, and 3, and 57 points. Chicago 16, 22, and 7, and 39 points. At the end of 60 minutes, the Wild beat the Blackhawks by a score of 5-0. Shots on goal were 35 for the Wild, the Blackhawks 30. Both teams had 30 saves. The Wild was 1 for 1 on the power play, and the Blackhawks 0 for 1. So that will do it. Now for the AllStar Game today. Metropolitan took the Pacific chose who they will take on, and with help from a winner of America's Got Talent recently, he did a little magic, and the Metropolitan Division was the first game, Pacific versus Metropolitan, and this game it went 20 minutes, 2 10-minute periods. And the final score was Metropolitan 6, Pacific 4. The second game was the Atlantic taking on the Central, and the Central won that game by a score of 8-5. And Central versus Metropolitan, the Central changed it into the white jersey or the white and red jersey, while the Metropolitan changed from the red and white to the blue and purple kind of jersey. The final score in that was Metropolitan 5, Central 3. Metropolitan wins the All-Star Game, and I think all the players split $1 million. Or the 8 teams in the Metropolitan Division gets $1 million. Shares $1 million. I don't know how that works. Okay, now I went to a website. It was not The Athletic because I had not subscribed to The Athletic, and I don't want to subscribe to The Athletic because it's pay, and I don't want to pay for it. So I did go to a site that gets the current playoff odds. Now I'll go into division and give you my grade also on where each team stands, and also the current playoff spot and the NHL rank according to the NHL website. So here we go. Start off, Carolina is first at 31, 9-2, and 64 points. They currently have the best. They are at 99.9%. Basically, let's say 100%. And I give them an A+. The Rangers, and by the way, they are currently the first spot in 1, and they are currently ranked 4th. Next, the Rangers next, the Rangers at 30, 13, 4, and 64 points. 98.1% odds of making the playoffs, and they got an A. Pittsburgh is next at 27, 11, and 8, and 62 points. 99.2% making the playoffs. I give them an A+. The Rangers get an A, and that was in 1 to 3. Currently, the wild card goes to Washington, and that they are 25, 13, and 9, and 59 points. A 94.6% chance of making the playoffs. I give them an A-. And, by the way, Rangers are ranked 5th, Pittsburgh ranked 6th, and Washington ranked 10th. Yeah. Now, teams that are out or looking in division. Columbus is next with 20, 22, and 1, and 41 points and 2% chance of making the playoffs. I give them a B+. and they are currently ranked 23. Next is the New York Islanders at 16, 17, and 6 and 38 points, a 7.9% chance of making the playoffs. I give them an F. Next are the Philadelphia Flyers at 15, 22, and 8 and 38 points, a 0.2% chance of making the playoffs. I also give them an F. And by the way, Columbus is ranked 23rd. The Islanders are 25th. Philly is 26th. And finally, the New Jersey Devils at 15, 25, and 5, 35 points, a 0.1% chance of making the playoffs. I give them an F, and they are currently ranked 28th. How I see this, I think the first team mathematically out in the Metropolitan will be the Devils. That's where I see things stand. Now this website also has strength of schedule and stuff. I'll go back to it later tonight and I'll write it down and I'll tell you where I went to, and you will know that. Okay. For the Atlantic Division, I have so here we go. Florida is first at 32, 10, and 5 and 69 points, 100% chance of making the playoffs. I give them an A plus. Oh, by the way, my grades for Metropolitan again: Carolina A plus, Rangers an A, Pittsburgh A plus, Washington A minus, Columbus D plus, Islanders, Philly, and the Devils all Fs. Florida gets an A plus. Tampa Bay at 30, 10, and 6 and 66 points, 100% chance of making the playoffs, also an A plus. And by the way, Florida's rank is 1. Tampa is 3rd. Next is Toronto. 29, 10, and 3 and 61 points, 100% chance of making the playoffs. I give them an A minus. They're currently ranked 7th. Next is Boston at 26, 14, and 3 and 55 points, a 95.8% chance of making the playoffs. I give them an A, and they're currently the second wild card, and they're ranked 13th. Now, here's how the Eastern Conference will go. It'll be Carolina taking on Boston, with the Rangers and the Pens taking on each other, and Florida will take on Washington, and Tampa and Toronto will go at it. So that's the current Eastern playoffs. Now for teams looking in my grades. Oh, Boston's ranked 13, folks. Here are the current rankings of the top 4 teams. Florida first, Tampa 3rd, Toronto 7th, Boston 13th. Now for teams not in the top 4 looking in. Detroit 20, 21, and 6, 46 points, a 0.7% chance of making the playoffs. I give them a D minus, and their current rank is 21st. Next is Buffalo at 14, 24, and 7, 35 points, a 0.1% chance of making the playoffs. I give them an F, and they're currently ranked at 27th. Next is the Ottawa Senators at 14, 22, and 4 and 32 points, a 1.5% chance of making the playoffs. I give them an F, and they're currently ranked 30th. And finally, in the Montreal Canadiens. They are 8, 29, and 7 and 23 points, 0% chance of making the playoffs. I also give them an F, and they're currently ranked dead last at 32. And, if Montreal don't win some games, they're going to be mathematically out. And I actually think they are technically mathematically out. I think, we're still got plenty of season left. Anything can happen. And, folks, I really think Montreal is mathematically out of it. But I will check. I'll let you guys know in another video. Next is the Central Division. First is Colorado at 32, 8, and 4, and 64 points, 100% chance of making the playoffs. And I give them an A plus, even though I'm not a fan of them. They look good. They're doing great, so that's why they got an A plus. Next is Nashville at 28, 14 and 4 and 62 points, a 94.1% chance of making the playoffs. I give them an A minus. And by the way, Colorado's rank is 2, the second. Nashville is at 8. And then Minnesota at 28, 10 and 3 and 59 points, a 99.2% chance of making the playoffs. I give the Wild an A plus. They're currently ranked 9th. And finally, the Blues at 26, 13 and 5, 57 points, a 92.2% chance of making the playoffs. We're currently in the first wild card, and I give them an A minus because I see how the team is looking. The team is looking great, in my opinion. Yes, we had a few bouts of the COVID, players going on COVID protocol and stuff. And to tell you the truth, it is hard, but the Blues have transitioned pretty good. Things are looking great. That's why I gave them an A minus. And we are currently ranked 11th, Minnesota at 9. Now, teams looking in. Dallas is at 23, 18 and 2 and 23, 18 and 2 and 48 points, a 46.3% chance of making the playoffs. And they got a D minus, and they are ranked 18th. Now, brother, folks, this is all color coded as you see. There is some pink in here. That means, they're not at a level to be alerted. They're on their way out, or they are out. I do have a light blue in here, and I'll give you that later. You saw it pretty much. I'll tell you why. But, I give the Stars a D minus, and they're currently ranked 18th, by the way. Winnipeg is next at 18, 17, and 7, 43 points, a 17.8% chance of making the playoffs. I give them a D minus also, and they're 22nd. Next is Chicago at 16, 23, and 7, and 39 points, a 0.3% chance of making the playoffs. I gave them an F, and they are ranked 24th. And lastly, in the Central, Arizona at 11, 30, and 4, and 26 points, a 0% chance of making the playoffs. I also give them an F, and they're currently ranked 31st. And finally, the Pacific Division. Vegas is Vegas at 27, 16, and 3, 57 points, 87% chance of making the playoffs, folks. Next is LA at 24, 16, and 7, 55 points, a 58.5% chance of making the playoffs. By the way, Vegas is ranked 12th. I forgot to mention that. Vegas is ranked 12th. LA is ranked 14th. And I gave the Kings a B+. Anaheim is next at 23, 16, and 9, and 55 points. Anaheim is currently at 34% playoff chance. And I give them a B-, and they're currently ranked 15. Now, the second wild card goes to Calgary, and they are at 23, 13, and 6, and 52 points, a 95.6% chance of making the playoffs. And I give Calgary an A+. They're currently ranked 16th. Now, if the playoffs started in the West today, this is how it's going to look. Colorado will take on Calgary. Okay? With Nashville and Minnesota going at it, and St. Louis will take on Vegas, okay, in the first round, with LA and Anaheim going there. So that's how the playoff bracket looks in the West. Now for teams looking in and their grades and their rank. Next is Edmonton at 23, 16, and 3, and 49 points, a 55.3% chance of making the playoffs. I give them a C-. Next is San Jose at 22, 20, and 4, and 48 points, a 7.7% chance of making the playoffs. And I gave them a D+. And by the way, Edmonton's rank is 17, if I didn't say it already. San Jose is 19th. Next is Vancouver at 20, 20, and 6, and 46 points, a 12.1% chance of making the playoffs. I gave them F, and they're currently ranked 20th. And finally, Seattle at 15, 27, and 4, 34 points, a 0% chance of making the playoffs. I also gave them an F, and they're currently ranked 29th. So, What surprised you in this video? Was it the rankings that surprised you? Was it my grade that surprised you? Also, um, what do you think of the NHL ranking? Do you agree with these rankings? Do you agree with my grade? Comment below and tell me what you guys think. Was I lenient on some teams or was I not lenient on teams? Was I playing my homer hat with the Blues or what? You tell me and I'll make a better video when we get in closer and closer to the playoffs, okay? So as always, folks, I love you guys. I'll see you guys on the 7th if I'm not working. If I have to work, I'll be on 6th for the pregame report. I probably might not have to work. Oh, honey, I'm not working on the 7th, so I'll see you on the 7th for that. I'll definitely see you on the 10th for the Blues game before my Blues game. Get ready for that. This is the jersey I'm wearing, folks. This is the jersey I'm wearing to the game. I was going to wear this December 7th. December 27th, which I never did, so I'm wearing it to this next game. So it's going to be great, folks. And this is the hat, by the way. This is the hat I'm wearing to the game too. I'm wearing this hat to the game. Oh boy, what a day. So, as always, folks, I love you guys. So remember, any questions, ask below. I will be happy to answer your questions. Um, as always, folks, please stay safe. Take care. I love you very much. And also remember, the Lord is watching you. And just stay safe, folks. So until then, peace.